Despite Cave Story being a near 20-year-old game, there isn't another game like it. There's been plenty of games that has been inspired by Cave Story, famously Undertale, but not many games are like Cave Story. An idea that was shared to the community once was the idea for games to use Cave Story's engine to make other games, potentially taking Cave Story likes into its own genre. Sure, Cave Story is technically a Metroidvania, but I even feel like calling it that is a little bit of a disservice given how unique the game is. This idea was very intriguing, and to drive my curiosity home, I figured it's time to once again look into a field I know can satisfy this itch. And that field is Cave Story mod. After my first video, not only was this one highly requested, but I was also insanely curious how I'd handle this video. Something fun I figured would be nice is to allow the modders themselves to submit what they felt what their best work was. And with the huge help of Enlightened One, again, I was able to bring a grand total of 27 mods from 27 modders together. Huge thank you to everybody who submitted a mod. Really, after playing them all, you're all incredibly talented people. I cannot stress that enough. After collecting all the mods, I decided to stream short playthroughs of all of them, and for those of you who have been wondering, don't worry, I made sure to get full playthroughs of every mod in my own time, which is why this video has taken so long. I had to get footage for this video somehow, am I right? Thanks again to everybody who came out to this stream and had a good time with me. I really appreciate it. Now, I bet you're all wondering which mods were chosen by now, right? Well, if you couldn't tell by now, this video has chapters, and I thought I'd try an interesting format for this video. Sure, you can watch this video as a regular video and just keep watching, but you can also skip to the mods and play a pseudo mod roulette. After all, the 7 mods that were chosen are just labeled with numbers assigned at random. However, you might notice 2 specific chapters. The first unhidden chapter contains a small segment that serves as its own miniature video for updates to Cave Story Encore. The team was kind enough to provide me a special demo for the game, and in this segment, I cover all the cool new additions and what will be coming to the game. The second unhidden chapter is also the first mod for this video. I know this may seem a bit rude of me to do, but Doukutsu Randamu is by far my most requested mod to play, with many asking me to make a video dedicated to it. Because of this, I decided to make a dedicated segment entirely to Randamu that I feel serves as its own miniature video that I hope you all enjoy. So yes, I'm sorry to say Randamu was actually a shoo-in for the video, but it didn't take any spots away from the modders that I did want to cover. With that out of the way, here's what you have to look forward to. Please select a chapter to cut to a mod, or select the Encore update chapter to view all the cool and exciting themes coming to that game. You could also click the Randamu chapter to check out my miniature video on that. Either way, enjoy them. Or, you know, you can sit here and wait for the mod segments to begin on their own if you choose not to participate in this roulette format I've set up. Well, you're still here, huh? Well, if you're choosing to wait, I might as well talk about something until you either pick a chapter or the mod segment begins. This might be strange to say, but when I was a small child, I found the fuzz and fuzz cores to be extremely terrifying. I have no idea why, but knowing younger me, I probably tried to process how such a creature could exist. It has no mouth. How could it eat or breathe? It's just a pair of eyes on a ball. It's also levitating with the regular fuzzes, orbiting around it. This has to imply that they're smart enough for some kind of power hierarchy, so they can think to an extent. What could drive this instinct? What kind of power do they have? Are they secretly really powerful? They're pretty weak in game. Is this hierarchy built on fear rather than power? What could scare the fuzzes to do this? Do they feel fear at all? Man, fuzzes are really weird. I hope I didn't make any of you scared of them with all of this. Maybe we should just start with the mods, yeah? Well everyone, it wasn't too long ago that I was able to talk about Cave Story Encore with you all, and the wonderful folks over at Team 9 were kind enough to send me a special demo with all sorts of new features. The first I feel like is my favorite addition, which is the inclusions of max level weapons. Usually, when a weapon's level reaches max, that's the end of the story. You know that you've capped your weapon. In Encore, they're adding brand new effects to weapons that you're able to keep at max level, benefiting those with nice, tight technical play. Some of the features we've seen were for the Polar Star and Fireball, which include changes like piercing bigger bullets on the Polar Star and being able to make the Fireball literally rain fire. It's so cool. Encore will also be introducing brand new, updated versions of the levels we love. While the changes can be very daunting at first, I feel like these changes still try and keep the overall layout and spirit of each area, so they don't feel like they're trying to change the game to how they want it. It's still Cave Story, I assure you. A big level overhaul we got to see was Egg Corridor 1, and I love what the team did with it. Other great additions we were able to see were some new enemies, the addition of Jukebox, and even a sneak peek of what the addition of challenge levels in the story mode will look like. Big thanks to Team 9 again, and if you're looking to play the current demo of Encore, please visit csencore.com or you can click the link in the description below. Before I even thought of making a second mod video, something I got a lot of requests for was to make a video on a mod that completely changes Cave Story. I knew nothing about this project, and the first person who told me about it was none other than the developer of the project themselves, Trashbox Bobby Lev. And oh boy, I should have covered this mod sooner. This mod, of course, being Doukutsu Randamu. Doukutsu Randamu is a mod that turns Cave Story into a randomizer, and what a complete overhaul of this game this is. I feel like I should immediately start off by saying that this mod is far more than just a Cave Story mod. It really is its own game. The point of the game is to make your way around the randomly generated map via destroying and placing blocks. Your overall goal is to collect 10 of the many randomly generated stars and be able to progress onto the next level. Doukutsu also sprinkles in plenty of new weapons and items to the game to help you get as far as possible, and I gotta say, the game is insanely fun and runs like a dream. I love the idea of mods completely flipping Cave Story into something new, and this game goes above and beyond. Did I also mention that there was a whole cast of characters, each carrying their own unique traits and mechanics? Doukutsu Randamu is phenomenal, and you should all definitely play it soon if you haven't already. Like I mentioned before, I'm a little slow on this one, so don't be slower than me, definitely play Randamu. Like the other mods in this video, you can download it from the collection in the link in the description below. If there's something you should all know about me, it's that I'm usually a sucker for the games I played as a kid, and that definitely stands out when it comes to the genres I played as a kid. This is no different for tower defense games. Critter Tower Defense is a series of mods that changes Cave Story into a tower defense game, with the challenge being to prevent critters from entering a door. As I said, I am a sucker for tower defense games and absolutely loved playing through the insanity that became of this game. The games also do a really good job of making a genre known for its top-down aspect and making a 2D game out of it. Obviously, it's Cave Story in the end, but still a wonderful surprise to turn a platformer into something like a tower defense and still be this chaotic and fun. It's everything you love about tower defenses, just put in the Cave Story engine. If I'm being really honest though, the game really could use more critters. Drip Quest is a game about going on a dangerous quest into a cave where no one has ever survived. No matter how dangerous or frightening, we're going dripped the f*** out! Drip Quest surprised the absolute hell out of me and was incredibly fun for its features alone. Easily, its best feature to me was the ability to play alongside friends using netplay. We were actually able to set this up on stream, and a surprising handful of viewers and I were able to trot along our adventures as one big, happy, just gang of dummies. And by the way, the game does have a big emphasis on styling your character, with characters from other mods even being playable in this game. It's a very fun crossover with a simple game to boot. I would love to recommend this to anybody, and who knows, maybe you'll find some other adventurers on your journey in your own Drip Quest. and I think it goes without saying that you should please be respectful and play this game in your finest clothing. Thank you. Primary is a mod where you play as a bounty hunter just trying to complete a job. Primary's gameplay is honestly very quick and close compared to other mods I've played, with Primary's main gimmick being that the time slows down whenever you use the booster, which is a very neat mechanic. The mechanic was actually made by a tool called Equip Plus that Enlightened One made to make neat effects like this possible. The game is short and sweet, but is immediately addicting with its fast gameplay and hidden secrets throughout it. It's simple and rides its simplicity incredibly well. So go out there and complete that job, or at least don't die trying. When it comes to mods that turn into serious projects, there's probably not many I could recommend. One I can turn you towards though is Cascade. Cascade is a wonderful little mod where you play as a small creature who has suddenly lost their sister. And man, what a beautiful mod setup wise. The game is simple and I think that helps it a ton. This game being from the perspective of a very young creature and you're living through it from a big turning point in their life, and the music is so fitting for it. Everything about this mod rides on that simplicity and the perspective of the character. It's really, really great. I loved Cascade, and despite it having 2 endings, it really won't take much of your time, so I highly recommend that if you do play Cascade, definitely go for both endings. Really, please try it out. Cascade is a wonderful experience, I promise. Tumble Story is fun. Tumble Story is a game about falling. Quote is falling, and you must continue to fall. Serving as a small sequel to Cave Story, Tumble Story turns Cave Story into a vertical platformer similar to Kid Icarus or Downwell. The game follows up a long while after the original Cave Story's plot, and the 2 androids and the Sakamotos have decided that they're gonna go skydiving, and while up in the sky, quote jumps. This game has a really fun and simple idea, and it really rides on its simplicity. I know I've said that about a few mods already, but that simple premise alone is just perfect enough to make such a fun mod like this work. Everything about Tumble Story is a really fun idea. It has fun sprites, settings, the music choice is really good. I really think this is definitely one of the more fun mod ideas in the whole video. Without a doubt, Tumble Story is definitely one of the mods that you should tumble onto and download below. Please forgive me for that, I'm so sorry. SNS is perfection given form, and exactly what I was looking for when delving into the creative minds of the Cave Story modding community. What can I say about it, but okay, I'm kidding, sorry. Blood Eclipse is a mod that transforms the Cave Story we know and love, and it turns it into a really fun, linear Castlevania-esque adventure. Despite it being based on the famous vampire hunting series, the game is actually quite forgiving, and that's not a bad thing. If anything, I feel like it makes the mod much more replayable when you're done with it. Not to mention the mod itself actually invites replays, with it being one of the few mods I played that takes advantage of the timer feature. Blood Eclipse is also one of the only mods in this video that has a cast of characters to play as before you start your adventure, which is a really, really dope and underrated feature that more of these mods should definitely use, at least in my opinion. I thought that was great. The game does require a good amount of awareness when it comes to beating its enemies, so definitely don't take its forgiveness too lightly, you will die. You could easily become swarmed by enemies if you decide to mess up an attempt at some cheese, or even get just a little too confident. The only question I would have for you guys at this point is, can you survive the Blood Eclipse? I know that this is going to sound like a lot of favoritism starting off a mod this way, but man, Evergreen is a visual masterpiece. For those who don't know, Evergreen is a mod made by a magnificent artist in the community, Eli. Eli is just a wonderfully talented human, and you can definitely tell when it comes to the art and style in this game. I didn't even think details this vivid were possible in Cave Story, with how much little things are thrown into the world and characters. The game itself follows a character who has died and reawakens in a world with little to no knowledge of anything left, really. You continue through the game and progress by continuously helping those in the world, and man, this mod is so ambitious, and I love the passion being put into it, and it's still being worked on by Eli, but it already shows so much promise. And again, I really can't stress what a visual feast here. Just be careful and stay strong, and if you die, you will retry, right? And that ends this video. I really hope that this video served well and you all got some enjoyment out of it. I want to use this ending portion to give a big thanks to everybody who submitted mods. You might have noticed by now that there's only one link in the description to the mods, rather than a bunch of links to just the mods shown in this video. And that's because I really do stress that the mods in this video are by no means better than the rest. Every mod, yes, I mean it, every mod brought me some sort of joy when playing, and I couldn't have been more happy with the submissions. I also, again, really want to thank Enlightened One, who has now helped me with a good handful of videos now, and was the real trooper who was able to not just get the first video done, but this one as well. He was even submitted another mod that was insanely fun, and I'm tempted to turn that mod into its own form of content, but no promises. To everyone who submitted, you're all talented, and I am happy to have been able to be someone who has played a project you made, with many that have a good and clear amount of passion in. I understand that each segment in this video may have seemed a bit short, but I really want people to feel that same feeling I got, so I didn't want to get too in-depth into what the mods contained. I hope you can forgive me for that decision. Please, I urge you all to try at least one mod from the submissions below, not just the video. And with that said, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Nerdieo is out.